Welcome to An Author Dissects a Narrative with your host, Husna Haze. In this captivating series, we will unravel the intricate tapestries of your favorite movies, TV shows, games, books, and beyond. Prepare to embark on a journey of analysis and exploration as we uncover the hidden gems and profound themes within these beloved narratives. Remember to show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing for a regular dose of insightful content. Let's delve into the realms of storytelling together. Let's check out the TV stats. This is Season 2 of House of the Dragon based on George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. It's 8 episodes. Ryan Condal is one of the producers and writers, and it is produced by HBO. That's right, we're back in the world of Game of Thrones, and I've just watched episode 2 of House of the Dragon season 2, and I have to say the one takeaway that I had is it's two takeaways that I had. Number one is that Alicent is a horrible mother. And 2 is that I think Rhaenyra realized that Daemon actually never really loved her the way that she loved him. But she even admitted that she's tired of trying to get him to commit to her in a sense that I don't know, to be a team or something like that. He couldn't even admit that he was somewhat wrong in what he did, but he did say that he didn't tell them what to do if they couldn't find Aemon. And I think that just shows that he's really not bothered with the outcome, but at the same time, I can't get down with Rhaenyra being all innocent and stuff, because it's you put out a hit on your brother, and your husband, your hitman, took up the opportunity to set up the hit and it went wrong, and now you're mad. She can't be mad because it's kind of her fault, because it wouldn't have happened if you didn't put out a hit on him, you know? This is what I was talking about in the last episode. Accountability, guys. Accountability. Now, we open up the episode with Aegon, and we see that he's just distraught over the loss of Jaehaerys, and we also see that Alicent is trying to do some damage control when it comes to Helena, because she's like, Helena, what you saw when you came to my room. It's girl, it's not the time for you to now just be I don't know what she was trying to do. She was trying to say girl, it's between you and I. And Helena wasn't trying to hear it either, because she was just this is for my son. And they did the whole procession for little Jaehaerys through the street. And I have to say that it was really sad, because first of all, I think Helena doesn't like people touching her, and second of all, she's very overwhelmed, and she even said herself she doesn't know these people. And she's being forced out of her comfort zone, and she's really alone in this madness that's going on around her that she's been a victim of, and it's just sad. There was a scene where her and Aegon are coming up the stairs at the same time, and he just keeps on pushing and she runs off, and I just thought that was really sad, because they both lost something. And Helena's on her own. I get it, he's angry, he's sad, but what did he expect for Helena to do? She was on her own. There were no guards. Kristen Cole's out here failing, and not only that, even Aegon was where were you? Where were you, Mr. Crispin Cole? And I just have to say, Kristen takes on this big, I've changed, I'm not gonna sleep with you anymore, Alicent, I'm going to I'm going to do my job. And he goes about it in the most macho, asinine way, and it was just like horrible to watch. And then like he's like, what's wrong with your cloak? It's dirty. It's like, girl, like your cloak is dirty too, mister. We just can't see all the stains that you've got on your sham of a white cloak. And Allison is all like sad when he doesn't want to like bang her anymore. And I was just like, ugh, Allison, I can't take you anymore. Like, I was rooting for Allison. Like, I had some like sort of sadness, and like I kind of like resonated with her a bit, because I was just like, you know, girl, like, it's not all your fault. You couldn't really do anything when your dad like threw you to Viserys, and like your marriage was just like horrible. You're living in the shadow of a dead woman. Your friend hates you, and you're just like queen. You have no friends, no family that is like supports you in a way that is positive. You know, you're on your own. You know, you've got nobody but, you know, your children, and you feel responsible for, you know, doing your duty to your house, doing your duty to your husband, doing your duty to your children, and also protecting them. And I see where like she was like torn in that sense, and I felt really sorry for her, but I can't do it anymore, guys. I can't. Allison is, I'm done with her. I'm done with her. I'm sorry, I'm done with her. The same way I'm done with Rhaenyra. Can't stand any of these people. But I do have to say, I do love Helena. And honestly, she's the only one I'm rooting for in this. And yeah, Helena, Rhaenys, and yeah, that's about it. That's who I'm rooting for. And I just find it so sad in that sense that, like, poor Helena. Like, seriously, poor Helena. We move on to Otto being surprised that he's not Hand of the King anymore, and he's like, we can still be peaceful. And I'm like, Otto, it has been war since the moment that you decided to take the throne. Okay, I'm just gonna say, you took the throne. Both factions are right. They do have a legitimate reason for raising arms and being, you know, king and queen. Both factions have legitimate reasons, and I just feel like the way Otto is going, the diplomatic way he's going, it would have eventually resulted in bloodshed anyway. It was gonna be bloodshed at the end. We see Daemon is not too caught up about what happened. Rhaenyra is afraid of him because he put some moves on her, and she like flinches back because, you know what, he's strangled her before, and he's not afraid of putting hands on her, which is just a bad sign all around, because if your significant other can put hands on you, it means that he doesn't respect you that much. Like, I'm sorry. We've never seen him do that to Mysaria. We've never seen him do that to Laena Valerian. So it's like, I mean, Rhaenyra, I don't know what to tell you, but you chose wrong. You chose wrong. And then Rhaenyra, you know, holds a council meeting, and she's like, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go after children in their beds. And she looks over at Daemon, and she's like, oh, this man, he did this. And it's like, you put out a hit, girl. You put out a hit. So forgive the council for saying that, you know, that you could have done it, because FYI, you did do it, okay? You did do it. You put out a hit on Aemond. Aemond wasn't there, and these people that you hired went about doing, you know, the worst thing to Helena. Poor Helena. We get... Sorry, I'm jumping around like from scene to scene because it's like a lot happened. We got Aemond. Aemond, I just have to say, he moves so well, and he moves so like domineering, like so much swagger. Like, that character is embodied in Aemond. We see Aemond, he's looking around, you know, he was out, he went to see his whore. I don't want to say it, but like, he went to see his mistress down in the brothels, and we see him saying that he's kind of flattered that Daemon would send assassins to kill him in his bed. Like, he's like, whoa, like, I didn't know that I was on my uncle's radar like that. And I'm just like, yo, Aemond, your nephew has just been killed. You know, he's just been offed. Your sister is on her own grieving, your brother is like torn up about it and he's like grieving as well. You can't go to Helena and be like, Helena, I'm sorry, are you alright? Aegon, like, I'm sorry, are you alright? No, he runs off to his mistress down in the brothels in the streets of Silk to, you know, be all curled up on her like some sort of mother figure. And, you know, it's so funny because I didn't catch the actress's name, or the name of the actor. The name of the actress who is playing the mistress in the brothel, but I do know, like, I watched a few interviews and I do know that Ewan said that actress used to be his teacher in drama, which is so funny. I just thought, like, when I was watching that, I was like, that is so awkward. It has to be very, very awkward in that sense, like when they were filming that, because how do you do this scene with like your ex-teacher? That's just gotta be a new level of embarrassing, but like they did it well, they killed it. I have to say that all of that, in a sense that, you know, she was like, when princes lose their temper, the realm suffers, and she means like the small folk. And I was like, you were so right. You are so right. Honestly, right now I just want Helena to get on Dreamfire, get her daughter, and go. Because it's just terrible out in here. And this also fortifies Alicent is a terrible, terrible mother. Yeah, she's a terrible mother, because this scene with Aemond and this particular character shows that, you know, he's looking for a sort of mother figure. And I think this might feed into the whole Alyssa Rivers storyline, but I'm not going to get into that because that's a spoiler, and, you know, I'm sure they're going to tackle it later on. So we get to see more of Jace and Baela. Baela turns up after, you know, Daemon storms out. Daemon ignores his daughter as he ignores her. Baela goes off to Rhaenyra, you know, she's giving orders, and she's like, what about my dad? And, you know, Rhaenyra's like, I don't know where he's gone. He's gone. Like, he might come back, he might not come back. I think she said that to Mysaria, actually. So we get this scene with Baela and Jacaerys, and they're both like talking about their fathers. So it's an open secret that is Harwin Strong's son, bastard son. So I think the Blacks just basically accept that. So I'm just gonna accept that, you know, because it's like whatever. But I love this conversation they had where it was very eye-opening. So it just shows a bit more of Jacaerys, and I have to say he's very like calm. I think he'd make a good king, to be honest with you, despite the murky truths about his background. I think he'd make a good king, and she would make a good queen. So if anybody stares at Jacaerys and Baela long enough, they will see that, you know, they make a good team. It's the foundations of a good team. But I cannot commit to them right now. I cannot commit to anybody but Helena, because right now, like, everybody in this season is annoying me. I'm saying, like, right now, both war criminals on each side are just annoying the hell out of me. So yeah, they talk about fathers, and Baela's like, I sometimes hate my father. And I'm like, girl, I can only imagine what Rhaena thinks. If you think that and you're your daddy's favorite, like, I can only imagine what Rhaena thinks, because I think Daemon is very much about Valyrian blood. And I think, like, I was right also in saying, my observation in saying that Daemon hates the Hightowers mostly because of his love-hate relationship with Viserys, his brother. He always felt like Viserys always pushed him away, always was weak, always listened to other people apart from Daemon. He feels like, you know, Viserys was jealous of him in a certain kind of way because he was weak. He also feels like, you know, Viserys always chose the Hightowers over him, so there's like some pent-up anger and an amalgamation of feelings that he has towards the Hightowers that it comes out and encompasses his whole view on this war and how he views the throne. because it's so visceral and it's very much rooted in hate and ugly feelings that I think he doesn't know how to move through, because how can you move through them when the person that is at the heart of them is dead and you never had closure in that sense? Damon has always been a very family oriented man. He's very much about Targaryen supremacy, about Targaryen rule, about Targaryen history, about the Targaryen bloodline and family. So to have that kind of undying loyalty to his heritage and his family, and to have somebody that he looks up to, his brother, just always push him away, and to view it as he never had anybody, and any time that he tried to excel, that his brother kind of, shoved him to the side and chose other people over him, and he was kind of like just been left alone to wander without like his family, without his roots. I think that is at the heart, at the core, Damon's problem, to be honest with you. That's his character arc. I feel that is my observation right now. I feel as though like we'll explore that more as the seasons go on, and I feel as though like Damon's temperament has always been like, how he is, like rogue, very much a thrill chaser, very much powerful, demeanor. He's very much a domineering personality, and I think that is his natural state of being. So when you add on all this other stuff with the Viserys and the High Towers, and him feeling abandoned by his brother, it's only natural that he would turn out like this, but yeah, so we see all of that. Daemon flies off to Harrenhal. We see Rhaenys and what's his name, her husband, Corlys. They have a little scene. And then we see Adam and Ellen. We see Sea Smoke, and obviously that's just like setting up, in the future of probably him, basically claiming Sea Smoke. So we see all of that, and I have to say that at the end of the episode, when they came together, Alicent and Otto, when they were like talking, and they were like all about peace, and I was just like, ugh, get off my screen with this. But at the same time, when Alicent was like, I've sinned, to her father, and her father was like, I don't want to hear about it. He knew where she was going about that. But that just shows like she was a terrible mother because she has a terrible father. So yeah, they just in general, like, she's a terrible mother. But what I gathered from the conversation she had with Otto, her father, is that she's now relying on that relationship, that physical relationship that she has with Criston Cole, in a way to try and control him. That is what I got from that. If I'm wrong, I don't know, but I feel as though that's what I'm leaning towards from what they showed, from the progression of that relationship from the first season, I guess. And also there's been like this kind of rumor that basically, well, it's a theory that basically Alicent and Criston have been having this relationship in secret since before what happened on Driftmark, because basically, he wasn't guarded. Aemond wasn't guarded. And because also when Rhaenyra said like it must be exhausting being hiding behind the cloak of your own righteousness. I don't know if those were exactly the lines, but you get what I'm saying. That scene where she dropped the knife and she just kind of like was like shook. People are saying that that's a theory that she felt like a bit exposed when it came to Rhaenyra, and her probably thinking that, oh, she knows about me and Criston. So I don't know about that, but that's a theory that you guys should know about. All in all, Alicent is a terrible mother, because she goes to find her son and she finds him crying and she just leaves. She leaves. It's like, girl, your son is like breaking down here. Your daughter is breaking down. Your other son is finding motherly relationships with, workers in the streets of Silk, and you're just leaving the way you came, and you're going back to your room, and you're, you know, basically getting it on with your night. It's like, really, Alicent? Really? That's why I draw the theory that Alicent did all of that in order to use that physical relationship that she has with Kristen to leverage that to sustain some sort of control over Kristen and Aegon. That is what I'm thinking. I think she's now using her sexuality. She's using her feminine wiles. I hate that name, but like, you get what I'm saying. She's using her body in a way that she hasn't used it before to get power over a situation and leverage. She has gotten leverage in, well, you could argue that she has gotten leverage out of her body and her, you know, her femininity when it came to Viserys, but let's face it, like when it came to Viserys, she was a teenager. She wasn't really seducing him in any sense of source. She just basically was reading to him and brought him a souvenir for his model of Valyria. So I feel like she's never really used it in that sense, but here she's really tapping into that and being like, hey, I have this relationship with Christian Cole, and, you know, I can see that he's coming out of my control. He's coming out of my control as well as my son. So, like, let me use this. Let me use my femininity, my relationship that I have with him, this secret that binds us together to, you know, manipulate. I feel like that's what I got. If it's not what happens, then, well, we tried. I tried. And, you know, I mean, it could be something else, or it could just be like she's just gone back to Rhaenyra's second sloppy seconds, you know? So, I have to give this episode rating a C again. I'm sorry. I'm just not I'm just not getting a lot from these episodes. I just have to give it like a rating of a C because, you know what, it was given C. We saw that Kristen's plan with Aegon failed, as everybody knew that it would fail. I knew it would fail. Like, I don't know how they didn't know it would fail, but it failed. We saw, I feel like we saw in this episode that basically the Greens are divided. They're divided. They're falling apart. They're divided. And we also saw that even the Blacks are divided. They're divided. I'll have to touch upon Adam and Ellen. They were talking about Corlys owing them, obviously, because, spoiler alert, they're Corlys's half bastard children. Well, it could be that. In some theories, they say that they're Laenors. We don't know. Basically, the gist of it is they might be Valerians, illegitimate Valerians. So we will see about that. If he claims sea smoke, I guess. Honestly, this episode was very much lukewarm. I just feel like it showed a lot more agency in Aegon. He is now out for blood. It showed Aemond is very much out there moving like a dragon. He's very much still pent up about, you know, how he was bullied when he was younger. He's looking for a motherly figure in a sense. So I feel like Alicent is like just like a terrible mother. But how could she be a good mother when, you know, she had her children so young? Like, her children are basically a few years younger than her, and like she already has grandchildren. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like it was kind of a situation that Alicent couldn't win in to be like a good mother, but at the same time, like, her children are very much on their own wavelength, and her not being a great mother to them when they were younger is gonna really impact the way that they listen to her moving forward and the way that they view her moving forward. So that's gonna be a very much a story arc for Alicent to go through. And when it comes to Otto, he's just annoying. Like, it's full-blown war now. The propaganda that he did work. in terms of getting support to the green side. And he was all mad about the rat catchers being like eliminated, but at the same time it's like, you can't trust them anymore, Otto. So it was a drastic thing to do, but it had to be done. I'm sorry, like, I agree with the move to do that, because you can't trust them anymore. And not only can you trust them anymore, but it's a liability. I mean, look, they were able to get in and out of the castle without you knowing. Honestly, in the next episode, I don't know what's gonna be happening, but I do feel like I do want to see a lot more of Helena, just because I want to see her have more urgency and agency in her storyline and arc. I want it to move forward. Right now, she seems as more of a plot point for other characters, not herself. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Video, and thank you very much for making it to the end. Make sure you check out Vertigo Honor Bound by Blood, the first installment in the Vertigo book series. It is set in 2095 at the heart of the Imperial Champion regime, where Emperor Gregory Champion rules over Earth and the colonies stretching out across the solar system, where there is a virus called the Megavirus that has mutated and changed the political landscape of Earth. This is a story about factions, about coming of age, about the importance of being firm in what you believe in a world where bloodlines matter.